Germany just did something shocking. It has decided to stand up to the US by partnering with Canada. Both countries are fighting against Donald Trump's new tariffs, which could change global trade forever. Is this a real break from US influence or just a smart move in a bigger game? Germany and Canada are making bold moves against Donald Trump's proposed tariffs on steel, aluminum, and automobiles. This unexpected alliance could challenge traditional EU trade rules and disrupt the global trade order. Is this a real break from US influence or just a strategic move? And how will it impact global industries and American consumers? Why President Trump sees trade deals as a threat? President Trump believes trade agreements with the EU and Canada benefit those regions more than the United States. He argues that the US has been disadvantaged due to unfair trade policies, high tariffs on American exports, and the loss of manufacturing jobs. To protect American industries, he has proposed tariffs on imported steel, aluminum, and cars. However, Germany and Canada strongly oppose these tariffs. The German government has warned that these policies could start a trade war, hurting businesses on both sides of the Atlantic. On the other hand, President Trump insists that the US must take action to defend its economy. His supporters argue that past trade agreements have left American workers vulnerable to cheap imports, making it difficult for US companies to compete. The goal of the tariffs is to level the playing field, but the response from global partners suggests that this could lead to severe economic disruptions. These proposed tariffs are not just about economics, but also about political leverage. Trump's America First policy prioritizes national interests over traditional alliances. Germany and Canada see this approach as a threat to the stability of the global economy. If trade becomes more about politics than mutual benefit, it could set a dangerous precedent, leading to increased protectionism worldwide. Will Trump's aggressive stance work in favor of the US, or will it backfire by pushing allies closer together against America? Germany's automotive industry at risk. One of the biggest targets of the proposed tariffs is Germany's automotive sector. The US has long been an essential market for German car makers, such as BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Volkswagen. If Trump's tariffs go into effect, the cost of German cars in the US would rise, leading to fewer sales and potential job losses in Germany. German officials argue that these tariffs could push Europe's largest economy into recession. Joachim Nagel, the president of Germany's central bank, has warned that ongoing US tariffs could have severe economic consequences, affecting millions of workers in Germany's auto industry. Experts suggest that Germany might respond by imposing countermeasures, such as raising tariffs on US imports or restricting access to European markets for American goods. This escalation could deepen the trade conflict and disrupt supply chains built over decades. If Germany takes strong countermeasures, it could force US automakers into a difficult position. American companies like Ford and General Motors rely on German-made parts, and higher tariffs could increase production costs. This means American consumers might see higher prices on German cars and American vehicles that depend on foreign components. The ripple effect could extend beyond automobiles, affecting suppliers, shipping industries, and even financial markets sensitive to trade uncertainty. Canada's response, a bold move against Tesla. Canada is also caught in the middle of this trade battle. As one of the top suppliers of steel and aluminum to the US, Canada faces serious economic risks if Trump's tariffs are enforced. In response, Canada is considering imposing a 100% tariff on Tesla vehicles. This move would make Tesla cars significantly more expensive in Canada, potentially reducing sales and impacting Tesla's market in North America. This retaliation shows Canada is ready to stand up against the US in this trade conflict. The Canadian government has also indicated that it may explore alternative trade agreements with Europe and Asia to reduce dependence on the US market. If such shifts happen, they could alter the structure of North American trade for years to come. The US and Canada have one of the most interconnected economies in the world, and this dispute could create significant disruptions. Canadian businesses that rely on American raw materials or customers might be forced to rethink their strategies. Some companies could move their production facilities to other countries, reducing investment in the US and shifting jobs overseas. This type of economic realignment could have lasting effects, making it difficult for North American industries to return to pre-trade war conditions. European Union Commission versus bilateral deals. Who controls trade? One of the biggest questions in this dispute is whether Germany and Canada can bypass the EU's centralized trade governance and negotiate their trade deals. Traditionally, EU countries must follow trade agreements set by the European Commission. However, some nations are now exploring bilateral agreements to protect their interests. A trade agreement between Germany and Canada could weaken EU control and set a precedent for other countries. Numerous countries would opt for separate agreements rather than unified pacts, resulting in a change in global trade patterns. Experts in international trade predict that numerous member states abandoning EU Commission involvement would break down economic cohesion across Europe, thus resulting in the weakened centralized trade handling of key trade blocs, such as China and the United States. When the EU trade policy fractures, it becomes less effective for Europe in securing trade deals with future partners. Independent agreements made by individual countries would reduce the overall power of European nations during negotiations. Europe faces economic shocks and risks intensifying foreign competition, as Germany may currently profit from this situation. Yet, uniform commercial policies under the EU would offer stronger protection against future financial challenges. Could trade tensions between the US, Europe, and Canada escalate? If tensions escalate, this trade conflict could turn into a full-blown trade war with severe consequences. Higher tariffs on steel, aluminum, and automobiles could lead to a price increase for American consumers, making everyday goods more expensive. U.S. automobile companies purchasing their parts from Germany will experience both production cost increases and availability issues. The price surge of raw materials will spread across various industries, from construction to technology. The economic environment becomes unstable due to trade uncertainty, which threatens investor perception and economic development throughout the nation. The job losses beginning in German and Canadian manufacturing units would cross national borders to affect personnel from additional countries. International businesses relying on global supply chains might need to move their operations or permanently close down their operations when tariff prices exceed affordable levels. Future negotiations about trade and security will become harder to handle because political tensions between the US, Canada, and the EU continue to grow. Previous trade disputes triggered immediate stock market reactions, which caused massive value losses reaching billions during a single day. Economic uncertainty paired with a developed trade war will likely make businesses postpone hiring decisions, and investments will shrink while consumer spending falls. Lengthy trade disputes can slow global economic growth even without immediate effects. Exploring potential solutions. A solution to resolve this problem would be implementing stronger alliances through regional trade agreements. Canada should expand its economic relations with the European Union. At the same time, Germany should explore business prospects in Asia alongside Latin America. These nations should establish a wider range of trade associations to minimize their business reliance on the U.S. market, thus protecting themselves from coercive American trade barriers. Reforms of EU institutions should permit individual member states to negotiate their trade arrangements independently, which would enable Germany to protect its economic needs as the EU preserves its unity and cooperation. Germany and Canada join forces to defy the trade barriers established by Trump. The world waits to see if Germany and Canada genuinely reject U.S. control, or these countries pursue a different negotiation method. International trade faces significant changes while millions of jobs will suffer detrimental effects together. The developing trade conflict requires all stakeholders, including organizations and customers, alongside national governments to create strategies that handle the expected results of an extended dispute. Diplomacy stands as a potential solution, but trade relations may advance into hostile territory soon. The remainder of this year will establish the outcome. Global analysts monitor closely as both Germany and Canada shape their trade strategies, because their choices will reshape Atlantic trade relations for the foreseeable future. Germany and Canada join forces to defy the trade barriers established by Trump, which creates a pivotal event in international commercial relations. The world waits to see if Germany and Canada genuinely reject U.S. control, or these countries pursue a different negotiation method. International trade faces significant changes while millions of jobs will suffer detrimental effects together with how nations execute economic cooperative alliances. What do you think? Will Germany and Canada break free from U.S. influence, or is this a strategic move? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on global events.